Ok, direi che siamo online, Andrea. Pronti?
Hello.
Hello, hello world. How are you doing? Time to switch to English.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Can you notify your presence with comments on Facebook on the live so we can get who's online and who's not? Mike, hello, how are you doing? On the live so we can get who's online and who's not. Mike, hello, how are you doing? On the live so we can... Andrea, devi scegliere l'audio da Facebook. Ok, so Carlos Torres, Ernesto, okay, already people connected, Diana, very nice. Okay, so I think it's time to start. Sorry for the short delay. We were setting up things. Thank you very much for participating to this webinar. More than a webinar, I would say a friendly conversation with Andrea Bartoli. Very welcome, Andrea.
Thank you.
Then I'm gonna introduce you properly as the very important person you are, indeed. The talk is called Fabricare Fiducia, Fabricar Confianza. And the project Fabricar Confianza or Fabricare Fiducia, depending if you've been following the Italian or the Mexican or one or of the many other ones, is an excuse. It's an excuse also to discuss about what collective intelligence can do in times of crisis, but also to imagine what we can do, starting from what emerged from the project, and also what we can do together in between Farm, MUI, and other actors. Plenty of people connected, very, very nice. Thank you very much for being here. So, to cut it short, I'm gonna introduce you the VIP guest of today, Andrea Bartoli, a friend and amazing person from Italy. I'm very honored to be here with him. I'm Marco Lampugnani from MUI and also C+Lab of Southern Region, Tecnológico de Monterrey, Architecture, Arts and Design School. Very welcome from all of these parts of the institution. And let me introduce you Andrea. Andrea Bartoli is Italian, and in a very unexpected way, he's not an architect, he's not a designer, he's not an artist. Actually, he is one of the best in Italy, but his profession has been a notary, and he still is. Andrea is very famous worldwide for an amazing entrepreneurship he started with his family, that is Farm Cultural Park. 20 years ago, he thought and created the brand Farm with a transformation of a farm in a charming hotel and with the production of countless events of contemporary art, including the exhibition of the very famous American photographer Thierry Richardson. And by this platform, by the means of this platform, for 10 years, he has been promoter, curator, or jury member of international contests of art, design, and contemporary architecture. I have to say that, to me, apart from that, Andrea is an inventor. Andrea and his family, because this is a family project, Daniel are going to tell us. He's an inventor. He's a guy with an enormous energy to make good things for the context in which he lives with his family, wife, 2 daughters, correct? And he has this ability, they have this ability to turn these ventures into policies that can change the common good. So that's amazing, and I think is a unique profile internationally. So very welcome, Andrea. You're a lot more than that, but we have almost an hour to discover it. So I'm gonna show you a short video about Farm, so you can get a an idea of the amazing place in southern Italy, in Sicily.
Thank you for a wonderful presentation. You're too generous.
No, I'm Italian, so we are liars. No kidding. So I'm also very glad because once again I have the opportunity to share to my new country, Mexico, amazing things happening from my native one. So this is also an honor to put in contact amazing people on both sides of the ocean. So Andrea, let me go with the video and then we can start the conversation.
Of course.
I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
No.
Facebook now. Can you see it? Okay, let me go.
I think Favara is one of the worst capital of urban regeneration.
Lovely people, lovely place.
Nobody believed it was possible to attract hundreds of thousands of tourists to Favara from all over the world.
They were wrong.
At a certain point, everything started to change.
Today, Farm Cultural Park acts like a tornado in the current debate about how small communities can survive global changes and economic crisis.
Young people from all over southern Italy are changing their towns.
Thanks to inspiration from the farm.
Children of Favara are having an experience that children of New York, Tokyo, and Milan can only dream of.
Lorinda and Andrea are dedicating their entire life to this project. It's an enormous commitment.
Farm is questioning the ugly habits of the political and bureaucratic system.
In Favara, they are playing an important game that concerns the whole country.
Who will win? The old corrupt system or the power for a change?
And that's all. Amazing. Useless to say that farm is a great inspiration for MUI and what we want to do with MUI in Puebla and in Mexico. But okay, let's start, Andrea. If not, I can talk 2 days. So why don't you tell a little bit how Fabricare Fiducia, the first chapter, started, why, and how it is connected to farm and what you do there.
Actually, it was just at the beginning of the pandemic. In the morning, I was quite asleep, and I thought there was 2 good news. The first one was there is a war to rethink, and in addition, we even had time to do it. So I thought I want to ask my friend, my visionary friend, 100 visionary friend, to answer a simple question: what will be, how it will be, the world after pandemic time? So this was the start.
Super. And how did it go?
It was crazy because I collect a lot of beautiful contribution, and after a few days, friends like you called me and they said me, I want to be, I want to start a new factory of trust. So just in 2 months, we opened 12 different factories of trust. Even the MUI factory of trust, but we have a trust for architecture, music, one factory of trust under 18, and one factory of trust Erasmus generation?
So yes, actually the answer and the engagement of the community has been huge. Also here in Mexico, I have to say, Fabricar Confianza, that is building trust, fabricare fiducia. We are speaking plenty of languages today. Got a lot of attention. Today we've been publishing the 85th or 86th contribution, so we are going to finish, and we are already thinking to the what's next, but this is for later in the conversation. I'm going to show you a short video with some extracts from the video contribution we asked to our participants. I'm going to share once again my screen.
Soy Julieta, estudio Relaciones Multiculturales y yo creo que al salir de esta pandemia tenemos que ser más humanos y menos ciegos ante los problemas que nos aquejan como sociedad.
Hola, soy Victoria Morales Dávila, director del MUI, y pienso que México y el mundo pueden cambiar y transitar a una economía del conocimiento en donde el desarrollo sea accesible para todos, es decir, lograr la justicia social.
Va a cambiar la ciudad. Yo creo que es una ciudad que se ha construido como muchas ciudades sobre el miedo, ¿no? Con grandes muros, no se desplaza en auto, tiene miedo de caminar. Hoy es otro miedo y eso tiene que transformar la ciudad. El futuro nos dirá cómo.
So,
Very nice.
These were some voices from Italy. So, Andrea, I would like to ask you, before thinking of the future of this project, thinking of future, which are the key takeaways, what you've learned from Fabricare Fiducia? Which are the most important messages that emerged? Because in the end, it is an exercise of collective intelligence. It is betting that many people can build tendencies together responding to this emergency. So which are these tendencies, common ideas that emerged, or important stories that you'd love to share?
A lot of precious reflection and contributions. I just want to share one of this is about a friend of mine. Her name is Anna Spreafico, and it is very touching. It is autobiographical. It tells the story of Anna, who had a wonderful child. His name is Emiliano. Emiliano suffered from a very rare and regressive illness. She uses a metaphor and says, we had bought a nice ticket for a trip to South America, and instead we are about to land in Asia. But we have been planning to go to South America for years. We tell each other we have always dreamed of South America. We studied. We have constructed our itineraries, the stages of our journey. We want to go to South America. We don't care about Asia, but nothing. We will land in Asia, and I'm sorry, we will never see South America. She said, now we have two options. The first one is to stop and complain because our dream has been destroyed. Bask in our pain and regret what we can never have. The second is to travel to find out what Asia has to offer. It will never be South America, but it will give us new perspectives, new adventures, new encounters, and new ways of living. And we may also realize that Asia is not so bad, and that perhaps it also something better to offer. This is a very beautiful metaphor. I love it because you know, you have to understand that things are changing, and maybe can change even for the better.
That's amazing. That's amazing. An interesting contribution. Well, obviously, this is a conversation, so I'm gonna make questions, but also Andrea will.
Yeah.
And also
something. And talking about Fabricar Confianza or Fabricare Fiducia, we are planning to host a pop-up exhibition of Fabricare Fiducia next month, as you would imagine it.
Wow, that's very interesting question. Actually, also the people that are following us can give us hints on how we can make this project. But yes, I think that definitely, I think we have 3 levels of storytelling we have to work with, and we definitely have to build a connection in between Italy and Mexico, and in between all of the factories. So one level, it's people. I think that we have to give to the individuals the visibility they need, because their ideas, their contribution, they are extremely valuable. But also, I think that we have to visualize the community. And the community is made of many people together, many people that we got the idea here in MUI to show through a video, so we can hear their voice, we can see their gestures, their body language, telling their most important messages. So I think that the collective vision of this community is very important. But also I think, and this is connected on how we do work here in MUI, I'll give you an example, Andrea. Fabricar Confianza produced 100 visions, probably more if people will send them. But so far we collected 30,000 words. 30,000. It's huge. So an idea that we have is that of filtering collective intelligence spoken by 100 different people with artificial intelligence. So it would be interesting to filter all of the contents of the different factories through machine learning, and try to go deeper in the tendencies and messages that are in depth, and somehow by an artificial filter make emerge in an even more clear way the product of a real collective intelligence. So I think this should be 3 layers of storytelling that we should work on: people, community, and what happens if we collaborate not only among persons but also with machines.
Wow, I love it. Beautiful. Let's work on it. Good.
Ugo, you got to work. Ugo, the curator of MUI, that's the passionate guy about these topics. Another question for you: how was it for you to work with because some factories, they are international, like the Erasmus one, exchange student one, but let's say the majority of them, they are fostered by Italian people, let's say. How was it to work with a new one that's from another continent, another country, that's Mexico. Was it similar to the other ones, or has it something special?
It was a really easy collaboration with confidence. How do you say in Spanish, in Portuguese, confianza. And I thank you and Victorino and all the friends of Fabricar Confianza for the enthusiasm with which you have adopted this initiative. So I think that we have a small treasure of vision and reflection, and we have a common responsibility not to disperse, but vice versa, to enhance it. So it's really important to understand how even the exhibition and all the next step of Fabricare Fiducia.
Super. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's an honor. As we told you, farm is a very important reference for us.
I want to talk something about it. What do you think if we invent a game in which we connect a worker from the Mui Trust Factory, which one of the Farm Cultural Park, and ask them to share a brainstorming session on potential initiatives between Mui and Farm, Puebla and Favara, Mexico and Italy? What do you think about?
That's great. This is a building trust speed dating. I really like. We definitely should build it. Is there anybody outside there that is already proposing to participate? Because and this is connected to the question of Julieta, which is the future of the 100 visions contribution of Fabricar Confianza. But actually they are so far probably almost 1.3 thousand, because it's 13 factories. So it's a lot more. It's not just 100 here, 100 in farm. There are plenty of more of that. And I would like to share you an example, Andrea, because I think this connection in between very different words is very important, because something that emerged very clearly from the Mexican Fabricar Confianza is something that, to me, in the past 4 years I've been living in Mexico, it's been probably one of the most important understanding of the past 10 years of my life. And it is that here the different ingredients that generate contemporary Mexican cultures, they coexist. At least two big ingredients. The component that's pre-Hispanic, it's the Mesoamerican one, and the other big one is the one of the colony, the post-colony, and then globalization, the one, let's say, with a Western matrix. Here, the syncretism in between these two words is possible, and many times is positive. So there's a feedback loop constantly ongoing in between these different ingredients that build the future Mexican identities. And this is amazing. And it is something, I don't know if you agree with me, that in Europe we lost our roots with, for instance, what we define now as a negative of the Christian Catholic culture we are embedded in, the pagan component. It's basically disappeared. We can't reconnect in such a meaningful way, or we can't reconciliate like it is. So a huge understanding I got is this one from Mexico, but also the Mexicans, they have this ability of thinking in a lot more empathic way with the environment in which they live in, and in a more also, we can say, interspecies. So they maintain this link with the world as a whole, that we lost as well. So, for instance, it would be great for the Mexicans to share this vision with the Europeans, and also to get visions they tend not to have from the Europeans. So I think this idea of the speed dating is extremely interesting in terms of cross-fertilization of ideas that can build even more syncretism, you see? So yes, definitely we should make it. And okay, so people, who's gonna join this project? Who want to get in contact with
I'm going to start.
Mexican or Italian people? I'm sure that Carlo Roccafiorita, if he's connected, he would like to join, definitely. Saverio is also connected. Also Diana, our Dean. Thank you very much, Diana, for being with us. Okay, so what about you, Andrea? How do you see how this simultaneous international exhibition should, digital probably, should be? What would you add?
Would be great. I love the idea, and I think that you find the name building trust, speed dating is quite, amazing. I love it.
Okay, let's move to another topic. It is connected to, once again, to Julieta question. That is, what's next? I think that in Farm, during the pandemic, you didn't launch only Fabricare Fiducia, but you also launched another project you've been cooking for a longer time, that is Società per Azioni Buone. I think it's a very clear example of the powerful, imaginative ability that Farm as a community has. And this ability of turning utopias into policies, and also sometimes also into politics. So I think that's very interesting. So why don't you share us something about Società per Azioni Buone, company for good actions, as for instance, as a possible platform for the follow-up of ideas of building trust.
Yeah, it is. I just say some words to explain what is Società per Azioni Buone. We are bending, the traditional instrument of Italian capitalism in a social enterprise. So it's a kind of new utopia for the city of Favara. And the vision is that within 10 years, every citizen of Favara will be the owner of a piece of a parking lot, a piece of a nursery, a piece of a cultural center. We are going to put together three things. The owner of strategic development properties, with others who can invest money, and still others who have the skills to carry out this process. Favara will again be a laboratory of experimentation, and if we succeed in Favara, we can replicate this process in other cities in the country. And do you know, Marco, how much money we have in bank deposit in Favara?
I know because you told me, but let's say I don't know. Surprise me.
No less of than 500 million euro has been estimated. But in Italy, we have 1,500 billion euro. It means that if we convince all the people of Favara, for example, to invest, not just to donate, just the 10% of their sums in Favara Società per Azioni Buone, we could spend 15 million euros to transform Favara to the most beautiful, innovative, and fun city in southern Italy. We can invest in public space, in educating future generation, in efficient and sustainable housing complexes, We can invest in the education and work placement for children, avoiding that they move to other cities to find a job. We can invest in places, activities, and even services for the elderly, for the disabled, for all those who have been left behind. And let's think about for a moment, why should thinking people of common sense continue to invest in companies they know nothing about, either in coal or oil, and not in the development project of their city?
That's amazing. Thank you very much, Diana, for your comment. I think that elaborating on what you're saying, I think that Società per Azioni Buone is very interesting because makes this step from the idea of an alternative future, more sustainable one, to the production of it. So the idea of mobilizing part of the savings that people of Favara have in the bank system and use them to generate.
The real challenge is to empower people to be active citizens and, when is possible, even in the civic leaders. And what about MUI? What plans and strategies are you putting in place to involve the citizen of Puebla in active citizenship processes to produce social impact?
Wow, thank you very much. That's a big question. The statement, the operative statement of MUI is that we are the physical and conceptual space through which we want to empower citizens in order to build a future Mexico that can be a global alternative. So that's the idea. We think that Mexico can be a huge lab for the future. I think that we are building this project with some other friends. Andrea, you are part of it, from south to south, building connection in between different experiences from different southern condition, not just geographical condition, all over the world, because the point of view from the south is a really powerful one, and that can represent an alternative at a global scale. So we want to do this by the means of what we can do and what we know that are the creative industries. And we do it from the very places in which we are situated, the city center of Puebla, but also the communities with which we work. So basically, every project we do, it's not about the past. MUI has born as a museum, but we do not consider ourselves a museum because we do exhibit art. We are not a university museum because we, I know that you agree with that, definitely. We think that we are a university museum of the 21st century because we can mobilize the talents of our community, students, colleagues all over the country, to help people to change their environment. And so each project we work with, it is related to helping people to understand the complexity of the life they live in. So for instance, the past exhibition was related to syncretism as a builder of future Mexican identity. So recognize the value of the pre-Hispanic roots. The one that we are waiting to open doors, the next one is called Collaborative People. So it explores the processes of collaboration. The claim of the exhibition is when people get together to solve their problems by themselves, everything works fine. This is the claim of the exhibition. But also we are going to work on the future of education 2030. That is a kind of challenge for our institution because our main focus is to train people to be better citizens and have an impact. And also we're working on the topic of climate terror. So this is what we do. And also we like to generate impact in the community we work with. So for instance, we are very present in a neighborhood that's 10 minutes walking from the MUI, that is called El Alto, that is the foundational neighborhood of Puebla. And now it is suffering some kind of marginalization. So as an institution, with our offer, with our value proposition, but also the way we work. So how we do spend money, we want to generate an impact that is positive. So everything we do is meaningful, both front end and back end. So, and that's why Farm is an inspiration for us and a model.
Amazing. An university is even a museum. That a museum is even you know, a platform for change. I love it. You know, it is absolutely what you know, is the mission of museums and cultural centers of the 21st century. You can be just, you know, a white cube. You have to be a platform for people to empower them, to enhance them, and to produce social impact.
Thank you very much. Actually, I have a question, but before, I think that Saverio is telling me that I'm not accurate, because Saverio has been helping us in the curation of the Collaborative People exhibition. He's saying not only collaborative people, but more radically collaborative actants, because we explore what happens if we collaborate with artificial intelligence, with bacteria, if we put together contemporary technology with ancestral ones, and these kind of things. So thank you very much, Saverio. Andrea, actually, I would like to make you a half personal and half professional question. As I mentioned before, Farm is a family venture. And also Farm has a huge focus on youngsters of different ages, from university to primary school, as the future of change and as the agent of change. So which is the role that you see for the younger generation now and in the future? I think personally they should be leading it, but you know that nowadays it's not that easy. So what do you think and what you are doing to empower them? Because you are doing plenty of things.
Yeah. We think that education is totally, you know, the answer of all questions. So we invest a lot in education, and we have one of the most important activities inside Farm Cultural Park is SO, which is a school of architecture for children. But we even have different programs for teenagers, and we have a festival. The name of this festival is OP Festival, and it is a festival for teenagers, produced by teenagers. And we have a special project, the name is Prime Minister, which is a school of Solvik for young women aged 13 to 19, powered by Farm and Movimenta. So we think that, you know, we need to involve young generation in all our activities, and try to listen them, and to focus on finding all the, you know, way to allow them to express themselves.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. Actually, when they ask us, you MUI, you're part of a university, so your audience is students, and we answered no. our audience is the external audience. Students are our allies. It's the people we work with to make a change and to bring this change to who's in need of it. Actually, Victorino is leading a very interesting project in trying to measure. We think that what we do with MUI, it's basically performing one of the most advanced forms of the third mission of university, that is impact. Traditionally, it is kind of, okay, it's lifelong learning, it's technology or knowledge transfer. I think here we are trying to perform something that's a little bit more beyond that. And Victorino is working on a very interesting project that is trying to measure the impact we do have in communities with what we do. And I think maybe you can share with us some tips or ideas on how, for instance, you measure what farm is generating. Also because I know that now you are super recognized. Now you are you have a lot of allies in Favara, but it's not always been like that. It took to you also quite time to engage with all of the stakeholders you should engage with.
True, and measure the impacts are really very, very important. And we have a beautiful video. The name is The Most Significant Change, and we produced them for the European institution, and they asked us what was the most significant change in Favara. And so we decided to share this question with all our community. So we asked the artists and the volunteers and the friends of us, the natives of the 7 courtyards, the place where Farm Cultural Park is. And, you know, I think that the most important words about the impact of Farm Cultural Park are trust, again, enthusiasm, and the sense of belonging. You know, people start again to be proud of their town. People are happy to see visitors from all the world into Favara, and to see their city in the media, in television, in the magazine, in the newspapers, and this is really important to give back the sense of belonging to your place.
Super, thank you very much. Meanwhile, many friends are sharing this webinar, so many other friends are popping up. Pino, Saverio, so that's very great. So Andrea, I think we have something like 10 minutes more. So if the audience has questions, we can answer to the questions. And meanwhile, now it's your turn to ask us me something.
Yeah, I just want to ask you. You know, I know the answer, but it can be interesting for all the Italian, you know, friends. What about your experience in Mexico? You know, you are running an important institution, so you are living different experiences, teaching innovative processes in teaching, innovative way of running a museum. Tell us something about, you know, Mexico, Puebla, Tech, and MUI.
Wow, okay. This I wasn't expecting. It's going personal. Well, what can I say? I mean, it's not a secret to all my Italian friends that I'm happy and very integrated here in Mexico. I consider it as my country, as well as Italy. I'm a permanent resident. I'm seriously considering the opportunity to take the Mexican citizenship. So this is the kind of commitment I'm thinking of, and I feel really good because I have the opportunity, and this is thanks to the institution in which I'm working and the leaders that I have. I feel very free to go on trying to make a change as I was trying to do in Italy. And I think that for some of the elements I've already mentioned before in this conversation, I think that Mexico can be a powerful lab for the future. It is a country of big contrasts, obviously, a lot more polarized, for instance, than Europe in both positive and negative terms. But I still think there's an openness to do things and to make a change and to propose alternative that's unique, and it is part of this culture that's of amazing people. It's also interesting because you have to discover Mexico. The idea from south to south before the pandemics, you remember, was to move people in between Mexico and Italy. Now we will have to wait a little bit to move physically people. But the idea of bringing people to Mexico is to make people understand Mexico, because it's curious, because it's a huge and very important country with an amazing history, but the general level of knowledge that worldwide exists on Mexico, I think it's a very small percentage of the amazing things you can find here. So to me, it's an honor and a pleasure being here. It is also interesting because I'm working within an institution that has a very interesting vision. It's betting a lot on the possibility to make an impact and a change by activating its different lines of services together with society. So I have the honor and the opportunity to also work with MUI. That's, I think, an incredible platform, very unique. So if I have to say, Mexico is something the rest of the world have to discover more and to collaborate with in order to generate proposal for a different alternative future. And thank you very much for being among the first ones, together also with Saverio and other friends, that they are accepting this challenge.
There is a beautiful question of Saverio. What would you do in the reverse respective roles? What would you do in running Fun Cultural Park, Marco?
Wow, I think that very, very nice, Saverio. Thank you very much. I have to say, first, I would try to understand everything down to the minimum level. I would like to understand everything that's behind and makes farm possible, because I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more than what we see from the outside or what we get from the interaction with the people. So yeah, a lot of time I would be kind of egoistic and spend time to understand and to learn from. And well, the rest of the time I would work terribly hard to keep up with the quality that farm is granting to the local and the global community, and to keep up with the ability of being a reference for change, and not just a reference, an incubator and an accelerator of change. And also I would try to build even more projects in collaboration with foreign institutions and communities in order to, let's say, spread the word. But I think they're kind of complicated shoes to fill. So I'd be good by just being a collaborator so far.
I'm going to answer the question as well. I don't think I would do nothing different and nothing more what Marco is doing. What are you doing in your role? I could summarize in 3 different words: connect, share, and build. So, try to build bridge between Mexico and Italy. It's what you are doing, and it's amazing. It's intelligent. It's this is the answer.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, so if there's no more questions, let's play a little game as a final thing. Andrea, very briefly, in between us, what's next?
Next one is 1,000 of new projects and traveling exhibition, moving people from South Italy to South Mexico and vice versa.
Good. Okay, and so I'm gonna add the medium term part of the not that crazy idea we got this morning, having a permanent link, also physical, with a movie space in Sicily, in Favara, and vice versa in Mexico, in order to enhance the amount of collaboration and the movement of people, ideas, project in between the 2 countries. So it's been little less than 1 hour. Thank you very much, Andrea. It's been great. Actually, we're going to have another conversation, a webinar organized by C+Lab, the 3rd of June, with Andrea, with Saverio, with Mariella Stella, with Carlo Roccafiorita, Francesco Caldarola, and probably other friends on which is the future of urban regeneration or social innovation connected to very specific spaces in a moment in which we are questioning our opportunity to get together in space. So we're gonna see and hear from Andrea again, but about another topic. And also, thank you very much for participating. Thank you very much, Diana, for... I mean, actually, we have to mention, Andrea, that at noon, Tech, because we are very big and many colleagues are very active, we got an interview with Bruno Latour. So it was either Bruno Latour or Marco and Andrea. So thank you everybody for being here, considering that we are eventually more interesting than Latour. And also tomorrow at 5:30, please come all together, also with a drink, because it's going to be a digital party. We're going to unveil the complete new identity of MUI. And so we are launching our digital house, that is a website. So tomorrow at 5:30 with Cultivo Studio, the amazing creative people that helped us to build, once again, through collaborative process and collective intelligence, the new identity of MUI. Tomorrow, 5:30. Andrea, thank you very much. See you soon. Have a nice dinner, because it's already 9 p.m. So hello to all of the people there, to your family. Thank you very much. We love you. Ciao. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao.